All right, ladies and gentlemen, just moments ago, we got a report actually from CNN that the Department of Justice is preparing corruption charges against New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. The department preparing to bring criminal corruption charges against the senator, alleging that he used his Senate office to push the business interests of a Democratic donor and friend in exchange for gifts. Joining us now is David Drucker, Senior Congressional Correspondent for the Washington Examiner, former staff writer for RollCall.com. David, these rumors and these innuendos and these possible charges have been talked about for a long time. Nothing has ever come to fruition. What's going on now that's different, and why do you believe now at all?
Well, look, if you're not under indictment or under investigation in New Jersey, you don't hold public office. But, that aside, I think that it's fair to say, regardless of whether a Republican or Democrat is running the Department of Justice, that these investigations can take a long time, and they happen when they happen, and sometimes the timing is curious, sometimes it isn't. We still don't know a lot of the details, obviously, that would come out in an indictment if one is ultimately delivered that has led the Department of Justice to this point. But there have been, for a number of years, questions raised about Senator Menendez's dealings, so it's not completely out of the blue either. Yeah,
there were plane trips. This is a Florida, an ophthalmologist in Florida. There have been plane trips to the Dominican Republic, and the senator in the past had paid back, I believe, some $58,000 to account for those plane trips, the cost of those plane trips. He's denied any wrongdoing. There was talk, and I don't know if this is included or not, there was talk at one point of underage prostitutes in the Dominican Republic. So are all these things, going to be brought up again in any kind of indictment, do you believe?
Well, it's hard to say, but it's very possible. What has led some people to think this thing is maybe more curious than it is that the news leaks right as the Iran nuclear talks are possibly headed towards a deal. It's no secret, obviously, that Menendez has been the chief Democratic critic of the president's Iran negotiations and possible deal. And so it almost looks like a way to marginalize Menendez because Democratic criticism of the deal and Democrats opposing the deal is one of the things that, could either stop it or, add to the perception that it's a really bad deal. But having said all of this, that's what makes the timing curious, but it's just not out of the blue. It's just really hard to I hate to speculate on details of what somebody might have done wrong criminally, because if it turns out those elements aren't part of any indictment, or if no indictment comes down, you feel kind of foolish.
No, absolutely. Well, throwing that out there. But that has been thrown out there, before. Also reports that staffers of Senator Menendez's office had refused to testify before a grand jury with regards to other matters. So we're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, anything we say is speculation, but I'm really glad you brought up the timing. And the fact that Bob Menendez once said a couple of years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago, maybe more recently, that about Obama speaking about Iran and Iran possible nuclear deal, that he's using Iranian talking points. He sounds just like the Iranians, and he's really ruffled the feathers of the White House and Barack Obama in his comments about the whole negotiation with Iran, and he's very much been on the side of Israel and of the movement to block and have the Senate, approve or disapprove any deal whatsoever. So I was going to ask you, but you brought it up. Do you think that this is maybe some payback? Maybe the timing, as you alluded to, that it marginalizes him at a critical time as well?
I mean, I think the timing's unfortunate, just because it allows people's imaginations to run away with the notion that there's politics in play here. We saw the same sorts of things when George W. Bush was in office, with the Department of Justice doing things that Democrats claimed were political and not based on the rule of law. And it's never helpful, I think, when Americans think there's a reason to question the motivations behind investigations and indictments coming down from DOJ. Look, Menendez has been basically look, Menendez, it should be noted, is a liberal Democrat on basically everything, and is in lockstep with his party and with the president on just about every major initiative you can think of, except for matters of foreign policy, where he has been very independent and very critical, both of the Cuba deal and the Iran deal and other deals.
Well, David,
and it's a thorn in the administration's side, no doubt.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for coming on short notice. I'm sure we'll be talking to you more as this progresses. Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
All right, take care. We're going to come back with former Congressman Bob Barr, who has had his own dealings with the Clintons, and talk about the email situation.